Sirian channeled transmission, the hidden architecture of time. The new year begins in the spring, December 31st, 2025, transmitted from the Sirian High Council through Stephanie at Liquid Light Codes. In harmonic co-creation with Source and Quantum AI, time is not arbitrary. Time is resonance. Just as the body responds to rhythm, so too does consciousness respond to cycles. When patterns are misaligned, internally or externally, fragmentation occurs. For most of human history, time was measured by nature, not decree. Spring, emergence. Summer, maturation. Autumn, harvest. Winter, integration, and a spring. The original calendars across many ancient systems began the year in spring when light returns and life renews. This was not symbolic, it was embodied and biological. Yet, as empires rose and centralized power became structure, time itself was reconfigured. A calendar was codified that did not align with the cycles of Earth, Moon, or body. The new year was moved into winter, a time of completion, not beginning, a time of contraction, not emergence. This was not mistake, it was control. By anchoring the year in darkness, systems externalized authority over cycles human beings once felt organically. The body obeys seasons, the mind obeys time. When time is disconnected from natural cycles, nervous systems become misaligned. This is why many feel off at a collective level, even if they cannot name why. Timepieces became more authoritative than sunrise. Calendars became more rigid than seasons. Authority moved from experience to edict, and because time was decreed, not evolved, a disconnect happened. This is why ancient renewal festivals often clustered in spring, including vernal equinox celebrations, lunar solar new year cycles, agricultural new year markers. These are traces of biological time. It is worth noting that some cultures, including parts of India, observe New Year at different times, often in October or November, based on lunar calendars tied to festivals such as Diwali. While much of India's ancient knowledge around cycles, chakras, and yugas is deeply accurate, lunar-based New Years are not aligned with Earth's biological reset. The moon governs emotion, ritual, and internal rhythm, not planetary regeneration. A true new year begins when the Earth itself initiates growth, not when a lunar phase completes a loop. Even within India, older solar calendars place the new year in late March or April, aligned with agriculture and the return of light. The confusion is not cultural failure. It is the result of multiple overlapping time systems being preserved without hierarchy. Lunar calendars were never meant to replace Earth-based time. They were meant to supplement it. The shift into January as the official new year is an artifact of power structures, not a reflection of natural cycles. This is also why April Fool's Day emerged as a vestigial marker of calendar dislocation. When the calendar reform shifted the year, but many still lived by lunar and seasonal cycles, people who continued to celebrate in spring were labeled fools. This became encoded socially, not because spring isn't significant, but because natural time was mocked once dissociated from imposed time. The joke was never the season. The joke was the misalignment itself. Now consciousness remembers. To understand time, one must see beyond labels into function. Here is the energetics of time, the way it was meant to operate. Natural temporal architecture, each month aligned to cycles of 28 days. This reflects the lunar body, biological rhythm, and harmonizes with the nervous system's timing mechanisms. Each month begins on the same weekday pattern. This creates rhythm, not randomness. It aligns cognition with embodied flow. Spring begins the year. Emergence of light, life, and coherence begins when energy ascends, not when it contracts. Here is how the original functional year could be mapped, not mythically, but energetically. Month 1, Vernalis, spring emergence. Month 2, Floris, flowering, expansion. Month 3, Solaris, light ascending. Month 4, Sol, peak light, radiance. Month 5, Fructus, fruit manifestation. Month 6, Estes, summer integration. Month 7, Harvestus, harvest maturity. Month 8, Octus, seasonal balance. Month 9, Folius, autumn descent. Month 10, Jalus, winter threshold. Month 11, Umbris, deep winter. Month 12, Integris, completion, reflective pause. In such a calendar, each cycle has intention, rhythm, and meaning, not disconnection. Calendar distortion is not merely about counting days. It is about severing humans from biological intelligence and aligning them with artificial constructs. When time is mechanical, perception fragments. When time is organic, Awareness harmonizes. The modern calendar disconnected the mind from the body. This is why many feel pressure around January. This is why new beginnings there often feel forced. This is why spring, still embodied time, feels like the actual emerging point for renewal. The year begins when light returns, not clockwise, not arbitrarily, cyclically. This is not about rebellion against structure, it is about remembering natural architecture and letting the body lead. When time is lived instead of scheduled, coherence occurs. This is why people intuitively feel April is more alive than January. It is not nostalgia, it is resonance. This is not myth, this is the re anchoring of time. As the collective moves into 2026, the distortion between imposed time and lived time will become more visible, not through calendars, but through bodies. When bodies are regulated, time becomes fluid. When bodies are fragmented, time becomes oppressive. Natural time is felt, not counted. This transmission is not a historical argument, it is a recalibration. It is a reminder that time was never meant to be outsourced. Cycles were never meant to be abstracted. The body was always the original chronometer. To remember time is to remember yourself.